Let me know if you can hear me. Welcome to Running with Grace. And I just literally walked in my door about 15 minutes ago. I wasn't even sure if I was going to make it. I didn't even announce that I was going to do this. So I hope that we have a few people showing up here. If you are here, drop a note in the chat, say hi, let me know where you're coming from. And I want to talk about a few things today. One of which is summer motivation. And I think several of us are kind of struggling with that. I also want to talk about the RunDisney, the new interface for registration for RunDisney. I also want to talk about this great meeting. The reason why I just showed up here at my house is that I just came from a meeting where I'm taking on kind of a new project for me. I am helping to organize the elementary school fun run. So the 5K and the 1 mile fun run. So I'm excited about that. I'm going to talk a little bit about all of those things. Hello, guys. Welcome. And so the other thing that I want to talk about before I really get into the meat of all of this, my office up here is wonderful in the wintertime because it's nice and cool outside, and this room is typically one of the warmest and because it's the warmest in the house and it's 100 degrees outside, by the way, it is 100 degrees and it's noon and it's hot up here. So if you see me start to wilt a little bit, that's why it's a little warm up here. So here's what's happening this week and why I'm actually excited that I have the opportunity to be live with you guys today. My son is at scout camp, and while yes, I miss him for the 5 or 6 days that he's gone, it's nice for him to get out and go do something fun for Boy Scouts. And then I have the house to myself. My husband has training downtown, so I actually get to go live. The hard part about going live is that it has to be just like all of the planets have to align. I've had this written down on my calendar for probably a month, knowing that I might have the opportunity to do this, but the fact that it actually happened is kind of impressive. So that's where we're sitting right now. Hey guys, hey Ann, hey Terry, nice to see you guys. Help, I'm a noob. I love your handle there. That's great. I want to start out by talking about, well, if you guys have any questions, drop them in the chat. Let me know if you have questions about running, about RunDisney, about any of the news that's going on around running right now. Go ahead and throw that in the chat and we'll have a conversation around it. Here's what I want to ask you right now. What is your motivation level? Audio's lagging? No, it could be the connection. Let me make sure I've got the right connection. No, I've got the right connection. How is it doing? Thank you for letting me know. I don't know. Is anyone else having the same trouble with the audio lagging? If so, please let me know. And I'll see what we can do about it. I don't know how to troubleshoot that, but we'll see what we can do. So what else? So yeah, let me know about that. My question in the meantime is, what is your motivation level right now? Sometimes it looks like I'm a foreign dubbed film. I don't know how to fix that, you guys. The only thing I can offer up is to maybe shut down and start out a new one. If anybody knows how to, let me see. I don't want to use that one. It's okay though. It's not horrible. Okay, let's hope. RunDisney November 10K. It's fine for me. No lag here. Okay, good. Thanks, AC. So here's the thing. Right? And or even if you're not, okay, let me know. Drop something in the chat and we can talk about it. Personally, my motivation is kind of on the fence. I have done 3 races in about 6 weeks. That's more than I ever really do. I am not a proponent of doing a lot of back-to-back races. It's not what motivates me personally. I know that a lot of people like to do races just to keep themselves out there. That's totally valid and totally fine. For me, when I go out and I do a race effort, that's what it is. And that race effort requires recovery from me. So I just finished the Slacker half marathon this past weekend, and I'm still recovering from it. So as it comes down to this week, when I'm sore and I'm tired, I made the decision really this morning. Slacker was on Saturday, and this morning I just decided, you know what? I'm going to take as many days off as I like. And I haven't been running since Saturday. I was so sore, I literally could not walk forward down my stairs. My legs were killing me. My ankles were killing me. Everything hurts. So, here's, if you're struggling with motivation, let's see what we can do. If you need the motivation or if you're totally fine with where you are, let me know. So let's see. Terry, first RunDisney, November 10K. First 10K. How humid was it last year at the race? I wasn't there. Reports that I've seen, Terry, were that it was still pretty warm in November at the Wine and Dine. I will be there as well. So I'll be at the 10K and the half. I'm doing the 2-course challenge. My husband and I are going to do that together. And I'm glad motivation is high. You're a newer runner. That's great. So let me know if there's anything we can help you through. Terry, do you have any kind of training plan that you're following? And if not, I can probably help you out with that too. Elizabeth, hi. Nice to see you. Darcy, I just walked in from a run and saw that you're live. Yeah. Okay. Terry, you also have a July 4th 5K. Oh, that's going to be fun. Terry, where are you coming from? Because it's hot. I'll tell you what, it's hot in Denver. And I tried to figure out if I wanted to do New Jersey. Okay. And it's hot in New Jersey. Yeah. So, July 4th 5K, I think that sounds great. And if it's going to be warm, it's usually pretty humid. We have very dry heat here. It has not rained in several days, and we have a lot of wildfires, and that's what we're dealing with right now. I'm a noob. I'm preparing for my first races, first a 10K, and 3 weeks after that, a 5-mile night run. Ooh, is that like a themed run? That sounds really quite a lot of fun. I haven't done night runs. I am such a morning runner, and the thought of getting up and doing or staying up late and doing a run, because I would end up like staying up forever. So I want to hear about that, the theme for that run and where that is, because that sounds really fun. And motivated today as I just got the Disney Paris link. That just came up, and I saw that the medals are out too. So the Disneyland Paris half marathon weekend, those medals are out. If there's one race I wish I could do just for the medal, it's of course the 5K, because I'm, a big Marvel nerd. So that looks like a lot of fun. Anne, are you doing all 3 races over there? It's not a themed run. It's a run in Central. Okay. Very cool. So if you're doing all 3, then you're just coming home with all the bling. That's super exciting. So let's talk about motivation, especially when it's hot. So it can be so hard to look at the summer and say, I've got to keep running. I've got to keep doing this. It's June, late June, obviously. We're coming up on, the first part of July. When you have fall races, then you have quite a bit of time. If you're looking at early fall, like late September, early October, you still have quite a bit of time. So for those of you going to Paris, which is the weekend of September 22nd, you're still looking at 12, 13 weeks. You have a lot of time there. So if you don't get the runs in, it's not critical right now. If you don't get the long runs in, if you have a race on the calendar, then that's going to keep you moving probably a little bit more. But it's harder, I think, especially when you have when you have the deck stacked against you, right? The sun comes up earlier, which means it gets hotter earlier, and the sun goes down later, which means that you might not be going to bed at a very decent hour. This has been my problem. So the motivation to get out early and beat the heat, or to go out when it's 100 degrees and run in the hot weather, to me, that does not excite me. That just does not excite me at all. The Slacker half marathon was really hot. And on top of that, it was at almost 11,000 feet. And I'm going to have a kind of a race recap on that this coming weekend. But I don't know, like, I'm just not motivated. I need a break. I need a little bit of a break. I'm going to get back to my runs probably this weekend, but I took the entire week off. I haven't been to the gym. I haven't been swimming. And I have had it from when I was young. Okay, so I want to go back to that. How would you like me to refer to you? Because I would absolutely love. I don't want to freak you out. Okay, so I want to go back here. And you're doing the Castle to Chateau with the half marathon. Yeah. Okay. So, I just call you Yip. Okay. I'll call you Yip. Perfect. Let's see. Skarabi, welcome. I'm glad to have you here. Darcy, you're doing the New Hampshire half marathon on 9:30 as proof of time for Princess. Perfect. Have you done a Disney race before? Have you submitted proof of time before? It has changed. I just, let's get into this actually. So if you guys tips on becoming a morning runner, I work 9 to 5, and it would be helpful if I could just switch up my routine. Elizabeth, I'm going to get back to that. So hang in there. I do want to talk real quick about the new changes that RunDisney has made to their registration page. And if you've signed up for Wine and Dine, you probably have seen this. I'm not sure when marathon weekend opens. I want to say it's in July. So proof of time. So the proof of time, I'm going to have a whole video about this, but I want to talk a little bit about that piece of it. With the new RunDisney page, it has all the same questions that the active.com page had. Now you're just local within the RunDisney page. So you're not leaving the website, the RunDisney website, to register for a race or to get into your registration. So as far as I could tell, there aren't huge issues with it. If anybody has been in there and had big issues with it, let me know. One thing that I have discovered is that my active.com account, I had to link RunDisney to my active.com account, but that is operating under a different email address than the My Disney Experience emails that I get. So my account with My Disney Experience, which houses all of your reservations, your dining, your fast passes, any bookings that you do through there, they're two separate accounts. So according to RunDisney and My Disney Experience, I'm two different people. So the only issue that I have had right now is I need to get those two talking to each other. So somehow I've got to probably migrate the RunDisney stuff into the My Disney Experience stuff. So that's the only thing that I'm finding right now. That's not really their problem. I just have to get on tech support with them and have them fix it. So if anybody else is having any trouble with the new RunDisney page, let me know. It looks really good. It looks the questions are exactly the same. It just looks like a RunDisney page. So that's the exciting part there. So I want to go back to Elizabeth's question, becoming a morning runner, working 9 to 5. Becoming a morning runner, do you have a family, Elizabeth? Because that kind of adds a wrench in the works too. If I don't work out, it started from a workout perspective. I would go in and I would go to the gym and I would lift early in the morning before I went to work. And this is way back in the day before I was married and had kids. I had a gym literally right across the street from my office. And I would go to the gym in the morning, or I would go in at lunchtime. Now, this was before I was really a runner. So that you're on your own, you're 25. Okay. So you actually have quite a bit of flexibility. The hard part is the motivation to get up and get out and go do it. Right. I mean, that's the hard part about being a morning runner. So the way I did it, I did the runner's math, right? If I have, a 4-mile run and that takes me 50 minutes. Okay. Let's just say that my run takes me an hour. All right. But it also takes me 45 minutes to shower and get ready for work. And then it takes me 20 minutes to get to work. So I back it up from the time I got to be at work. How long does it take to get there? How long do I need to get ready? How long is my workout? How long do I need before I get out? And then back it up from there. And then when you pick your jaw back up off the floor because it's some ridiculous hour in the morning, right? You have that. Then you have the obstacle of actually doing it. One of the things that I always had to do every single day, and this was probably for months, you can kind of get into a routine after a few weeks, lay it all out, have everything ready the night before, make it part of your bedtime routine to get ready for your morning run. So it's all laid out. So you know that if you haven't done laundry or whatever it is you need, not just for the office, do you have to make your lunch? All of this stuff, have it all done the night before. The fewer obstacles you have at dark 30 in the morning, the easier it's going to be to get out and do it. Plan it all. To me, I'm a planner. If I don't have a plan, I have no clue what I'm doing. So as long as I have a plan and it functions properly, I'm more successful. I also, if you have any kind of planner, calendar, day planner, some kind of appointment calendar, make that appointment with yourself and think of it like, I can't miss this. I won't miss this. Make it kind of a non-negotiable in your day. That's one of the things that in order for me to get and stay in shape back when I was in college was that I had to make an appointment. I had to make it one of 3 things I did that day. And I had to do it first. Otherwise, it wasn't going to get done. So I don't know if this helps, Elizabeth. So if you know that you have a certain amount of time, and, the other thing too is that, okay, maybe you get up a little later, right? Maybe you miss that first alarm or you hit snooze, but you still have time to get out and do half of your run. It's better than nothing. And maybe instead of thinking of it like, okay, I have a 4 or 5 mile run and I have an hour, start with a half an hour. Start with a half-hour workout, whatever that is. Make it easier, make it attainable, make it an easy victory. Okay. And whatever it feels like, okay, maybe your coffee hasn't kicked in and you feel slow and you are tired and man, this is no fun at all. But once you have that check mark, that's victory. That's where you declare victory. And then you do that day after day after day after day after day after day. Then not only do you have all that victory, but then you're developing the habit. How does that sound? Does that sound good? Okay. That's how I did it. And I know a lot of people have different ways that they do. Some people are just natural morning people. I had to become a morning person to be a morning runner. I just had to. And now I'm a morning person. I can't help it. I get up early. My alarm goes off at 5. Whether or not I actually get out of bed is a different story. Especially lately because the sun here is up at 5:20. If I have a 5 mile run and it's already 70 degrees, it's hard. It is really hard. And it gets harder. Now is the time to do it. Elizabeth, if you're here in the States, I don't know where exactly you're coming from, but if you're here in the States and you're in the Northern Hemisphere, the sun comes up early and you have a long day, right? When it's wintertime, it's even harder. So if you can develop that habit before winter comes, then it makes it so much easier when winter does come. It's like, okay, so I already have the habit. I'm already getting up at 5 a.m. or whatever time you're getting up. You can still go out and do it. It just happens to be dark. Okay. And that becomes a separate issue. But as long as the habit's there by the time it gets dark out, because how many times have we all turned over and said, it's still dark out, I'm not going out. That's ridiculous. That's just where we're sitting now. Oh, you're outside of DC. So when the time starts to change, that's when you want to have that habit kind of lined up. So hopefully I'm glad that helps. And let's see. I'm going way back into the comments here. Tell proof of time for Dopey. I want to talk about that. Okay, Terry, I received an email to link active and run pages. Yes, that's what it is, Terry. It says the link is only good once. So I need all my, yeah. So make sure you know what your passwords are, Terry, before you go into your RunDisney activation page to get all of that talking to each other. On the street by 5:30 a.m. Cindy, good for you. And you know, I think that's it too. There's so much about being a morning runner. And Cindy, you hit on this. You get to work and you're like, yeah, I feel great because you already have that victory. You've already done something really good for yourself today. The hard part for me would be waiting until later in the day to do a run because I'm already tired. I'm done, you guys, by 4. So it's just hard. Question, and do I run every day? No, I don't. I find that when I have a regular wake up routine, and I think this is important too, whether or not you're going running, get up at the same time every day. Okay. Use that time to get something else done, even if it's just reading the paper, catching up on your emails, drinking your coffee, whatever it happens to. Play games on your phone. Make it a habit. If you're doing that every day or most days of a week, it's easier to make it a habit than if you're running 3 days a week, you're only getting up early on those days because, you know, you're up at 5, then you're up at 7, then you're up at 5, then you're up at 7. It's hard to develop a habit around that. So if you make that, so no, I don't run every day. I try to get something done, whether it's a workout or, you know, I'll write a script for this, or I'll write a blog, or I'll catch up on emails, or usually if I'm not running, I'm responding to your comments in my YouTube channel. So that's what I do. So let's see. Let's see. Outside of D. Sorry, guys, I'm reading and I can't think at the same time. Recently started waking up at 5:30. I stay at home mom. My husband has to leave before 6:30. Running with a stroller is a different kind of, I don't want to say crazy, but it is because I've done it. And I can say that. I can say that because I've done it. If you want to build strength as a runner, push a stroller and then have the kid in the stroller say, faster, mommy, faster. Okay, we're going to talk about that. Let's see. So Courtney, good for you. Good for you getting up and getting it done. And yeah, Cindy, you have to get up early in Louisiana, 85 by 8 a.m. Oh, honey, good for you. That's a new level of amazing. So good for you. Elizabeth, you're fairly new at running. So you want to do Princess Half in 2019. Yeah. I mean, if you do the Princess Half Marathon, you have so much time. You're in DC. You've got a pretty good, a nice long time. Let's go back to the proof of time question, because proof of time is due for Wine and Dine. If you're doing that, proof of time is due on July 31st. So it's coming up in a month. If you are doing the Dopey Challenge, I have this written down someplace. If you're doing the Dopey Challenge, the marathon, the half marathon, or the Goofy Challenge in January, that is due on October 9th. then is that right? That is right. That is right. And then Princess would be due sometime in probably late November. I don't know off the top of my head. Here's the thing about proof of time, you guys. If you haven't run anything more than a 10K, and for Goofy, Dopey, and Marathon, that's outside, that's something else. Okay, we're going to talk about that in a second. If you have not run an official race with an official time that has a website link in the last 2 years, okay, if you're new to running or you haven't been running for a while, it's you have some time to get that done. Okay. Yes, it was due in early October. So you have some time to get that done. If you want a good corral placement, okay. Laura, you're here. Hello. If you want a good corral placement, a proof of time is good to have. If you are a brand new runner and are doing this for the first time, consider that you'll probably be placed late in the corrals. Not a bad thing. Okay, this is not bad. You just have to understand that you'll have balloon ladies behind you, but that clock is 3.5 hours long for a half marathon. It's 7 hours for the full. You have lots and lots and lots of time on course. You probably won't be stopping for a lot of characters. You probably won't be stopping a lot overall. But again, that's not a bad thing. You're still running at Disney. Okay. So if you can do a solid proof of time in your local race, if it's chipped, if it has a website that you can link to, you have to submit that proof of time before the deadline for that particular race. All of the half marathons require, they don't, excuse me, I misspoke. All of the half marathons and the marathons, the Dopey and the Goofy challenges, all of the 10K half marathon, anywhere there's a half marathon or a marathon involved, you may submit a proof of time. If you don't, they're still going to put you in a corral. Okay. It's likely they will put you in one of the last, like 30% of the field, because they don't know where to put you. So they'll put you in the back. Here's the thing about proof of time, you guys. If you want to improve your proof of time, if you want to improve and move up by one corral, let's just say that you're like, this year, my time, I was in the D corral, but I was at the very back of the D corral. And by the back of that is that I was on the low end, the long end. Okay. So I think my corral window of time was that I would finish between 2 hours and 15 minutes and 2 hours and 30 minutes. My proof of time came in way at the back of that, like 2 hours and 30 minutes. In order to move up in corral, I would have to submit a proof of time that's more than 15 minutes faster. So is it important enough to you to drop that much time off of your proof of time? If you're only improving by 1 to 2 minutes, first of all, that's amazing. But is it worth the physical and mental damage to get that done and feel like you have to have that pressure on yourself? Or are you happy with whatever you have going into whatever proof of time deadline you have now? Am I making any sense whatsoever? It makes perfect sense in my own head. I'm going to do a whole video on this at some point. So I want to say a few hellos here. Okay. Fairly new to running, to Princess Half. Marathon weekend, proof of time. Okay. Yes, Laura Runs and Eats is here. Guys, I'm not gonna spoil it. I'm just gonna, okay, that's gonna be so cool. And then Meredith, hello. I'm so glad you're here. I have a lot of catching up on YouTube to do. This is the nice thing about my son being at Scout Camp, is that I can sit here and watch YouTube. When I'm done here, it's probably what I'm going to do. I'm going to catch up on a lot of videos. Cindy, luckily for me, my daughter is really good when I've pushed her in the stroller, and she was excited about, and I was very excited about running with her, and you need the alone time. Right there with you, sister. I'm right there with you. So I get it. And I love that you can get out and do that on your own. That's great. Okay, we have time on the course, but the wait to start was awful in January. That's true too. And I don't know what to tell you about that, because January is probably the only one where you're really going to get a lot of cold. And that has happened 2 years in a row now. So January 2017 was cold, and January 2018 at Marathon Weekend was super cold. So yeah, that's just fun. Winter for me, though, it's like I can manage that. I live with that. I'm like 35 degrees. Yeah. 35 degrees in humidity, different story entirely. But I know how to dress for that kind of thing. If you're working, if you're standing in the corral, definitely go to your local Goodwill ahead of time and grab as many, I've seen fleece bathrobes that are perfect for standing around. Ditchable hats, anything that you can buy for cheap, or, raid your husband's closet, stuff that you're going to donate to Goodwill anyway. I actually have a bin in my basement of warm clothing that I plan on donating, but I'm actually not going to donate it at Goodwill. I'm going to take it to a race and donate it there. So as long as you have the means to stay warm, yes, that's the hard part. That is part of the challenge with especially the January. Goofy was cold. But it's so hit or miss too, isn't it? I mean, it's hard to say what it's going to do in January, but most of the time, like 2017 was just so crazy because that cold front moved in and they had to cancel the half marathon. That was just awful. So that was just tough. May I suggest the superhero one? Yeah, I know this superhero. I'm really excited about the superhero stuff coming up. So, sorry, I'm kind of off. Speaking of improving POT, it is getting warm up here, you guys. Like it's hot up here, and this is the hard part. So if I pass out, there. Speaking of improving POT, how do you suggest approaching that if you're new to speed work? Claire, you read my mind. That's coming up not this week, next week. I just shot it. I have 2 videos that are kind of coming up in the next couple of weeks. One is all about speed work, how you do it, why you do it, when you do it. What's the variety of speed work? If you're new to speed work, I say start with strides, and I'll get to that in a second. The second video is going to be the variety of workouts outside, the variety of runs outside of speed work. So your long run, to race pace run, extra credit bonus miles, slow, easy pace, all of those things are coming up in future videos. So you read my mind. Well done. And can you use a proof of time for a half? Yes. Okay. Very good question. And I meant to come back to this. So if you're doing a half marathon at RunDisney, you need to submit a proof of time that include any one of these races will work: a 10K, a 10 miler, a 15K. Don't quote me on that. And a half marathon. Okay. So any one of those, or a full marathon. You can use a full marathon for a half proof of time as well. For the marathon, for the Goofy challenge, for the Dopey challenge, you have to submit a proof of time that is a 10 miler, half marathon, or a full marathon. Hope that cleared it up a little bit. Does that help? Find a place to, oh yeah, okay. Sorry, I need to give a shout out to Colorado, born and raised in the southwest corner. Oh, where it's really pretty. Yes, no, don't pass out. I'll try not to pass out. So speed training. Let's talk really quick about speed training and how, if you're new to speed training, where you can start. I mentioned strides. Strides are also known as accelerators. If you do a Galloway program, I think he calls them glides. There are a lot of different names for the same thing. So after you warm up, and any speed work, you really need to warm up because you are working your muscles super hard. So if you just do a nice easy run, 3 or 4 miles. And this is outside of any other speed work. So your strides will come typically at the end. That's typically when I do them. A stride is anything from 10 seconds all the way up to 30 seconds, or anywhere in there, with a recovery after it. You do 4, maybe 4 of them up to 8 or 10 of them. So the way they work mechanically is that you find a nice long stretch of road, okay? Something flat and something straight. And you start running and you run faster and faster and faster and faster and faster and faster. And then you decelerate back down to your easy jog and recovery pace. That is your stride. It's it looks like this, okay? As you're looking at your data, as you're looking at your pace data in Garmin or whatever, it goes up and it slides back down. And then it goes up and it slides back down. So it's a nice, easy acceleration and deceleration. You do those this is a really great place to start. And it's a great place the best place to do these for new runners is at the beginning of their training plan once a week. So anytime you have an easy run that's 30 to 45 minutes long, tack those on at the end. And what that does is it trains your legs to turn over a little faster, okay? But it's not a full-fledged hard interval track workout, okay? It just gets your brain and your legs moving a little faster so you get used to it. So when you get into harder speed work, your body knows it. Your body understands what it's doing. Does that help? Okay. So if you want to get your POT in September before Paris, when is that due? Okay, and I need you to clarify. Are you trying to get your proof of time for Paris? Or, so you want to do, okay, so your proof of time. And the other thing too about Run Disney races, guys, your proof of time is not always forever, a forever thing. It's the last 2 years. Okay, so if you're doing the January race in 2019, your proof of time counts as far back as January 1st or whatever of 2017. Keep that in mind. So it's not good forever. Okay, I gotcha. All right. So you have a local half 2 weeks before Paris. Yeah, I think if you have, and do you already have a proof of time? Did you submit one for Paris? I don't know how that works. I literally was not paying attention with the Paris stuff. So while I'm regrouping here, if you guys have more questions, throw them in here. I love the conversation that's happening here. This is fantastic. There's so much cool stuff going on. So let's see. What else did I want to talk about? There was more. Would a 10K proof of time be used for that? Yes, it would. A 10K proof of time is good for a half marathon. Yes, at Run Disney. You just tell them a time, no proof needed for Paris. Okay. I know a lot of you guys are going to Paris. I'm kind of jealous. It's just so exciting. What else? Oh, I wanted to talk to you guys about this exciting new thing that I'm doing. So I'm not one to volunteer for things at school. I'm just not. I tend to be a homebody. I'm an introvert. It's true. Highly functioning introvert. But I love to, I just like to be kind of in my own little bubble. But given that I just got my coaching license and my son is becoming more and more of a runner, I feel like I need to be a little bit more part of the community. So my son's elementary school has a fun run every year. What's interesting about this fun run is it has always happened on some kind of race weekend. I was not around for it this last year because I was at Avengers and Disneyland. So I missed it this year. I have not been able to be a part of that fun run. So I just had breakfast with the co-chairs of this fun run and just trying to figure out like, what is involved in just a small local neighborhood race and all of these things that you have to think about. It's like, oh my gosh, I mean, we're probably not even going to have bibs or timers or anything official like that, but there's still a lot to think about. Like, where do we get the water? How do we find the t-shirts? Who's going to design the t-shirts? Cause I can't draw. That's not happening. So it's really exciting. Because we've got a 5K and a 1 mile fun run for the families. I think we had 300 runners or so last year, which is pretty good. The population of the school K through 8 is like 900. So that's, considering percentage wise, that's actually a really good chunk of the school. We're in a very active neighborhood and a lot of great places to run around here. So that's what's happening. There's still time. Whoa. Okay. And just pops in and she says, there's still time to book for Paris. I'm like, yeah. There is, Paris is on my long-term bucket list. Star Wars is the next big thing. Once we get through Wine and Dine, we're gonna all as a family go down for Star Wars. And then it's probably gonna be a while before I plan another big race. We have a lot of other big ticket items that are kind of on our list right now that we got to figure out too. So, you are running with Ainsley's Angels. That is amazing. So are you pushing with them now? Please tell me more, Skarabi, about that, because Ainsley's Angels, for those of you who don't know, they're an amazing group. They're the dad, last year, 2 years ago, his son has, I want to say it's cerebral palsy, but I don't think that's right. But is wheelchair bound mostly. And dad pushed the stroller across the country. Okay. Ran across the country pushing this stroller. It was amazing. They spent the whole summer doing it. It was so cool. So if you're running with Ainsley's Angels, I want to hear more about that. So let's see, get the kids to design the tees. We are doing that, Anne. That's a great, we're having the art teacher have a competition for the t-shirts, which is fantastic. What else? Did I see the Thanos medal? Yes. I did see the Thanos medal. And I just can't. If there's one I wanted to do, it's the 5K. I would go to Paris for the 5K. That's it. I want to do Star Wars as well, but I'd do it solo. Get it? Sorry, maybe that's not what you meant. Because my daughter can't miss senior year testing time. Yeah, when you've got kids that are a little older, I feel like right now my son is 10 and he'll be 11 by the time we do Star Wars next year. This is probably the last year I can get away with that. And with pulling him out of school, because he wants to do the 5K and the 10K. He's now old enough to do the 10K, which is fantastic. Elizabeth, do you think joining a local running group would be helpful? Yes. It's helpful for anybody. It's hot and it's dry up here. Excuse me. It's helpful for anybody. Especially if you need the motivation to get out and run. It's a great way to meet people in the community. And if you have a local running store, they will typically have running groups. I have a hard time finding those, organized runs on a time that works for me. But if you have time and if you have a local running group, just go in and introduce yourself. Tell them if you're a new runner, tell them what your experience is, tell them what you're training for. And the local running community in general should be supportive enough that they'll say, awesome, how can we help you? And especially if you're going through a running store, because they know the community, they know what's available, they have sponsorships and so on and so forth, and they can get information for you. Joining a local running group in person is great. It's not just about Run Disney. It's about all of the local races that everybody's doing. The online training group, if you're training for, and if you're training for Paris, if you're training for, there might be a Facebook page for the Paris, Run Disney Paris. That kind of online community, if that starts flooding your feed, that's motivation. You see other people that are not just getting the miles done, because that's easy. That's easy to see. Everybody wants to brag about their miles. What you will also see in a good group are those people who are like, I am struggling. I don't want to do this. And you will find that you'll get those, you'll get those people that, that will come up and say, well, you just get out and do it. It's more complicated than that. But then you'll have those people that say, look, I understand what you're saying. How can we help? And a running community should be supportive. Okay. So I think it's great if you can find a local running group, that's great. Okay. So going back to the Ainsley's Angels, no active plans to do it yet. Yes, he is very connected to Marine Corps. I see he did, I want to say it was for the Another Mother Runner podcast, but this would have been a few years ago for Father's Day. They did, or maybe it was before that, but it was right before they ran across the country. And they had an interview with him, and he was just amazing. So it was really fun. Member of a local running group, and I love it. I've met a lot of new and interesting people. There's your testimony right there. Everybody's loving Joyful Miles. We do have Park Run in the US. I have looked it up, and that's as far as I've gotten. That's as far as I've gotten. So I know that's a great thing for kids runs and for local runs. So I think that's probably a good resource as well. I have looked it up. What else can I talk about, you guys? Any other questions? I'm going to close up here pretty quick. What's coming up? Running together with somebody is also good because you can run in pace with your buddy, maybe talk if you want to. Makes it a lot easier to keep pace and continue. And that is true. I have found that for me, running with someone, and trying to keep, because I'm slower than a lot of people I know. And I am perfectly happy at my run all day pace all the time. I find if I try to carry on a conversation, I get excited. I mean, you guys you're watching me do this. My heart rate's up already. So then I try to have a conversation with somebody, and then my heart rate goes up even higher. So running and having a conversation at the same time isn't always good for me. I have also run, the last time I ran with someone, I got hurt. Because I was trying to keep up with her, and it's not her fault. She also had a very different method. I'm not a run walker. I'm not disparaging it. I just don't do it. I've tried it, and I prefer to run consistently. I'll run at 13:30 or 12:30, whatever I decide my pace is going to be, run by feel. I don't slow down to walk unless I absolutely have to, if I'm not feeling strong that day. This woman was a run walker, and I tried to keep pace with her. So she's throwing down 8-minute miles when she's running, and then she's slowing down to walk, and it killed me. And I ended up hurting my foot to the point where I missed a race. So trying to keep up with someone can be dangerous if you're not used to running that hard. Yes, it can push you. Yes, that's important. That's kind of a competitive motivator if that works for you. But I also think that we can overdo it if we're running with someone else. So finding that compatibility in a running partner is important as well. And I don't have one because it's my time alone. It's kind of like Cindy. It's like, I just need to not not deal with anyone. I'm going to listen to what's in my ears, or I'm just going to do whatever. So that's, I do think that running with someone, if you can find the right partner, it's perfect. All right, guys, I am going to wrap up here real quick, but if you haven't already, give me a thumbs up. You guys are amazing. What else did I want to talk about? The fun run. I was telling you about that. I had this huge list. This is my list. This is one list. This is my, and then it goes that way and this way. I have so many notes, and I left the meeting. Have you ever gone into a meeting and you come out of it going, what just happened? That was me after this meeting. Guys, I am going to take off if you guys don't have any more questions. What is coming up? I should probably tell you this. I am going to do a Slacker Half Marathon recap. That's coming up probably Sunday. And then Tuesday, I'm going to give you my 5 takeaways from the Another Mother Runner trigger point therapy session. Okay, that was fun. That was the pain cave. I'll just say that. My 5 takeaways, that's coming up on Tuesday. Let's see what else. I don't know when my next live stream is going to be, but if I had to guess, it would be 2 weeks from today. I think that's... What's 2 weeks from today? That's probably 2 weeks from today, because I think my son's going to be in camp again. I have no idea, but hopefully you guys can come back. That's it for me today, you guys. Thank you for watching. Guys, thanks for the happy running. Love you guys. We're going to have a great summer. Stay warm, or stay cool. Don't stay warm. Stay cool. Stay hydrated. Let me know if you need motivation, because I need it too. You guys are amazing. Thank you guys for watching. Love you. Go find your awesome. Happy running. Bye.